enjoy werewolf movies? And do you also like those horror films that are a little silly and end up being funny sometimes because the effects are bad, and sometimes because the movie knows exactly how ridiculous it is? If that's your kind of thing, then you'll probably enjoy this list. Hey everyone, I'm Austin, and today we're looking at 10 of the funniest werewolf movies that make for great guilty pleasure watches. So let's get started.
Wake up, Leslie. You're starting a nightmare.
My Mom's a Werewolf, 1989. Our first movie exploring the hilarious take on werewolves is My Mom's a Werewolf, a 1989 American horror comedy film directed by Michael Fisher, the same guy who directed Death Spa. The film follows the story of Leslie Shaber, a bored suburban housewife who, after being bitten by a mysterious pet shop owner, undergoes a slow, hairy transformation into a werewolf. Neglected by her husband, Leslie visits a pet shop where she meets Harry Thropen, a charming stranger played by John Saxon. During an encounter between the two, Harry bites Leslie's toe, due to which her transformation into a werewolf ensues, as she begins to crave raw meat and grow white fur. Her teenage daughter Jennifer and her horror-obsessed friend Stacy look for ways to find a cure before the transformation becomes permanent and engulfs her forever. Fans often praise the 1989 horror comedy for its campy 80s charm, its low-budget special effects, and its emphasis on comedy over traditional horror. Despite the overall rating, the film has developed a minor cult following, frequently being compared to other 80s genre spoofs like Teen Wolf.
I was totally wrong! Quick, tie her up!
Family Pack, 2024. Family Pack, also known as Lopes Garros, is a 2024 French adventure fantasy comedy available to stream on Netflix. The 2024 movie is a Jumanji-style take on the popular French card game, The Werewolves of Miller's Hollow, which can be played with 8 to 45 players and is set in a small village haunted by werewolves, where each player is assigned a secret role. The movie follows a family which discovers a mysterious medieval version of their favorite board game, of course, The Werewolves of Miller's Hollow, due to which they're unexpectedly transported back in time to the year 1497. Now trapped in a medieval village based on the game itself, they realize they've been granted special powers based on the secret roles offered in the game. So, to return to reality, the family must unite and work together to defeat 4 werewolves that have been haunting the village. A fun trivia fact about the movie Family Pack is that it was filmed primarily in Prague, and the medieval sets used during principal photography were originally built for the series Nightfall. On IMDb, fans have mentioned Family Pack as something that is a perfect comedy watch, since it doesn't demand much mental investment needed to overthink the plot. What makes this movie even better is its very lighthearted tone, blended with witty dialogue and amazing characters, even if the theme of familial bonding feels somewhat incomplete and is left unexplored to some extent. Despite the storytelling hinting at a deeper exploration of emotional connections, the movie still doesn't detract too much from the overall enjoyment it provides. In conclusion, Family Pack is a perfect flick to enjoy with your family, if you ever need an excuse to procrastinate from your scheduled tasks and chew on some caramel popcorn.
Fuck off! Get off that!
What We Do in the Shadows, 2014. Of course, because we're talking about funny werewolf movies, how can we miss out on What We Do in the Shadows? Everyone knows this critically acclaimed mockumentary horror comedy hailing from New Zealand. To provide a plot overview of this most beloved movie, it follows a small documentary crew as they record the nocturnal lives of 4 vampire flatmates residing in a suburb of Wellington, New Zealand, who struggle with the complexities of modern life. To give a glimpse of how they cope with the mundane aspects of modernity, they get indulged in frequent arguments over the chore wheel and who hasn't done the blood washing. They also struggle a lot in keeping up with their social lives, as they get invited into trendy nightclubs, and they have to unwillingly deal with a local pack of werewolves. Yes, I knew you were waiting for this one. Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement, who have also directed the movie, play 2 vampiric tyrants, both 379 and 862 years old respectively. The movie is based on a short film having released in 2005 named What We Do in the Shadows, Interviews with Some Vampires, and its success sired a wider franchise, including a spin-off containing 6 seasons, which was set in Staten Island, and a spin-off series named Wellington Paranormal, which follows the team of cops from the original film, who encounter hilarious situations while dealing with the supernatural events. Fans have labeled the movie as absurdly funny and have claimed that from the very first scene, it has you gut-busting. The premise of the vampire flatmates is absurd, yet it works out because you stay emotionally invested in the characters despite their unserious design. Teen Wolf, 1985. Our next movie is none other than Teen Wolf. Directed by Rod Daniel, Teen Wolf is a fantasy comedy starring Michael J. Fox as Scott Howard, a teenager studying in high school, who's a mediocre player for a struggling high school basketball team named the Beavers. Later, he experiences physical changes, after which he learns from his father that he's part of a long line of werewolves. The movie then proceeds to follow Scott, who gains superhuman strength and agility overnight, becoming popular at his school and even winning the heart of his crush. However, this creates an emotional dilemma for Scott, because he realizes people value him as the Wolf rather than for who he actually is. He thus decides to take part in the championship as his human self to prove his worth. Consequently, Teen Wolf comes out not just as a lighthearted movie, but also as an inspiring movie for all teenagers who consider themselves losers. Watching a teenager realize his potential as he gains superhuman strength and notices changes in his body is indeed a relatable topic, as it's the kind of transformation we've all undergone after reaching puberty. Plus, Michael J. Fox's performance gives you a different kind of delight. Teen Wolf thus comes out as a timeless 80s classic and an amazing teen movie to watch when you're feeling bored. Even if this movie has its imperfections, the jokes land perfectly, and the climax is a lot of fun to watch. Hungry for some fun trivia? Here's one ready for you. Teen Wolf's house is situated on the same block where you can find 1955 George McFly and 1955 Lorraine Baines houses from Back to the Future. So yes, if you want to laugh at these funny coincidences in the lore while also seeking inspirational material, Teen Wolf can be the right choice for you. Another WolfCop, 2017. And the next movie in this list is none other than the 2017 horror comedy titled Another WolfCop. Directed by Lowell Dean, Another WolfCop serves as a sequel to the Canadian cult horror comedy WolfCop, and follows an alcoholic werewolf cop, Lou Garrow, played by Leo Fafard, who vows to stop an eccentric businessman and best-selling author of self-help books named Sylvester Shallows, who has a sinister plan involving a new brewery and a local hockey team, and hence is attempting to woo the residents of Woodhaven. His lover is Chief Sheriff Tina Walsh, who keeps him locked up on full moon nights so that he doesn't shapeshift. Lou's condition is the result of an alien invasion led by creatures called shapeshifters, who ritually sacrifice werewolves. On the other hand, Shallows is respected by Woodhaven and considered the town's savior. Much to their oblivion, Shallows has nefarious motives, which only Tina and her allies, Lou and his old friend Willie Higgins, know about. The three thus reunite and plan to stop Shallow's nefarious motives from taking shape. Overall, Another WolfCop is a fun watch, because as someone said, any werewolf movie where the main character is named Lou Garrow is automatically a great werewolf movie. Besides, the tagline "Sequels are a disease, meet the cure" promises a rewarding experience throughout. Another great thing about the movie is Kevin Smith's cameo as Mayor Bubba Rich, alongside the Canadian singer-songwriter Gowan's appearance as the evil organist, Organo. As the evil organist Organo at the hockey game featured in the movie, of course because Gowan has a song on this movie's soundtrack, and has contributed to the soundtrack of the prequel too. The hockey game scene is indeed one of the best scenes from the movie. The cheerleaders are seen wearing horn-rimmed glasses with masking tape, nodding to the Hanson brothers' role in the 1977 hockey movie Slapshot. Indeed, Another WolfCop is a great movie to watch for fulfilling your guilty pleasure. Of course, because who will back away from watching a werewolf chugging bottles of alcohol? An American Werewolf in Paris, 1997. Our next funny movie involving werewolves is An American Werewolf in Paris, the 1997 dark comedy starring Tom Everett Scott as the lead, promising both lighthearted comedy and body horror at the same time. It serves as the sequel to the 1981 classic An American Werewolf in London. Tom Everett Scott plays a thrill-seeking American tourist who, while vacationing in Paris, unwittingly becomes part of an underworld dominated by werewolves, who have developed a serum that allows them to transform into wolves at will. It all starts with Andy saving a young woman named Seraphine, who's the daughter of the werewolf from AWIL, suffering from a lycanthropic disease from a suicide attempt, while attempting a bungee jump off the Eiffel Tower. Andy then tracks Seraphine and reaches an underground nightclub, which, unbeknownst to him, serves as a secret society for all the werewolves. During a chaotic encounter with them, Andy gets bitten and thus starts the adventure, and things start getting a little hairy. Pun intended. Yes, I'm talking about the movie's tagline. However, unlike in traditional werewolf movies, where werewolves undergo physical transformation on a full moonlit night, in this movie they use a serum to undergo the transition. Modern Family's Julie Bowen plays the role of Andy's undead friend here, which is indeed a fun fact. Plus, the movie's 90s heavy soundtrack makes it a fun watch. Another fun fact about the movie is that Julie Delpy, who plays Seraphine, decided to take part in it for one reason: to pay her rent. In the alternate versions of the movie, there's a werewolf baby ending, especially on the first Australian DVD release, while in the widely released versions, the Statue of Liberty ending is seen. What's funnier is that the director of the prequel himself talked crap about this movie. So yeah, how can we hesitate to try it out? Trick or Treat, 2007. Ah yes, missing out on talking about Trick or Treat will indeed be blasphemy. If you don't know Trick or Treat, it's a popular comedy anthology film that was released in 2007 and became a cult classic for its unique kind of storytelling, which is non-linear and its deep reverence for the Halloween season. The film weaves together 4 main horror stories, which occur on the same night in the same place, a small town in Ohio, all linked by the presence of a mysterious pint-sized trick-or-treater named Sam, who serves as the spirit of Halloween and the enforcer of its sacred traditions. Appearing as a child in orange pajamas, wearing a sack mask, possessing button eyes, while he's actually a demonic being belonging to ancient times, with a head resembling a hybrid of a skull and jack-o'-lantern. Why did I call him the spirit of Halloween? Because he punishes the ones who break the rules of Halloween, i.e. to hand out candy to trick-or-treaters, to wear a costume, never blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight, and to treat the deceased with respect. However, despite his sadistic nature, Sam is shown to be merciful toward those who change their ways and start respecting the season of Halloween. The third story is where the Lupine adventure takes place. A self-conscious young woman named Lori joins a group of friends for a surprise party in the woods, looking out for her first time, all of which leads to a Lupine twist, as they're haunted by a pack of werewolves. The surprise party is considered one of the funniest and most fun stories in the anthology, as the climax of the episode is cinematic in the best way possible, with Sam witnessing all the girls turn into werewolves and feed on their deceased dates. You can either buy a physical copy of the movie to watch it in the most vintage way and reminisce about the late 2000s, or stream it on an OTT platform while calling up your friends, family, or siblings. Either way, the movie will provide you with a rewarding experience. Wolves Within, 2021. Our next funny werewolves movie is the 2021 American horror comedy Werewolves Within, directed by Josh Rubin and adapted from the Ubisoft VR video game of the same name. Set in the small, snowy town of Beaverfield, Vermont, the film follows a whodunit format in which residents figure out who among them is the werewolf, after a massive snowstorm traps them together in a local lodge, and they discover a mauled body. Tensions are already high amongst them as their community is divided over a proposed gas pipeline. The newly arrived forest ranger Finn Wheeler and postal worker Cicely Moore serve as the leads and investigate who the shape-shifting lupine monster is while maintaining the peace of the already clashing community. Sam Richardson, who plays Finn Wheeler and has also co-produced the movie along with Josh Rubin, delivers an amazing performance depicting a polite and well-meaning forest ranger, and Milana Vaintrub, who plays Cicely, also nails her role as a friendly mail carrier. The supporting cast also delivers wonderful performances, understanding the assignment of playing the paranoid, dysfunctional townsfolk, who suspect each other pretty well. The movie also stars Harvey Gillen, who starred in the most beloved horror comedy, What We Do in the Shadows. Principal photography for the movie began just before the COVID-19 pandemic. Witnessing the fictional characters battling their primary adversary, i.e. the lycanthrope, culminates in a series of comedic events as the leads, along with the suspicious townfolk, try to uncover the truth about the shape-shifting werewolf. Additionally, the movie beautifully pairs elements of comedy and horror with those of a whodunit mystery, making it more of an amusing experience than a thrilling or scary one. The witty dialogues and jokes further inject a fresh quality to the movie, despite it being a video game adaptation. Considering all of this, Werewolves comes out as a rewarding horror comedy movie about werewolves, if you're feeling bored and need something to make you laugh and get you engrossed in suspense at the same time. It is twisty and it is fun. Strippers vs. Werewolves, 2012. Our next horror comedy about werewolves is this campy watch, Strippers vs. Werewolves, a trash flick about strippers confronting shape-shifting lupine monsters. It's a dark comedy about how an adventure unfolds after a werewolf is accidentally killed in a strip club. The girls from the strip club then gather to find a resolution before the next full moon, when his pack of allying werewolves seeks retribution against them. The movie is an ultra-low budget affair with a tiny sprinkling of well-known faces, and the jokes are quite over the top, all of which makes it a kind of movie you should watch if you want your brain to be switched off for a moment. Expect a couple of good cameos from famous faces like Alan Ford and Robert Englund, aka Freddy Krueger, a nerdy boyfriend who's also a vampire killer, and makes up for a hilarious sequence as the movie proceeds, and the 4 strippers dressed as Little Red Riding Hood at the end of the movie. Except for these, the rest of the movie is like brain rot and makes no sense at all. Cursed, 2005. Our last movie is the infamous supernatural horror comedy about werewolves, Cursed, from 2005. Of course, it needs to be on this list because it's directed by Wes Craven, who has helmed legendary horror flicks like The Hills Have Eyes, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. However, unlike the other Wes Craven movies, this one is legendary for its disastrous production history, delayed by over 2 years due to massive studio interference, and is cited as a cursed project in both its name and nature. Plus, the makeup artist Rick Baker's practical werewolf designs were scrapped, and instead replaced with CGI that looks laughably poor. Either way, the disastrous production history contributes to the movie's hilarity. This movie stars Christina Ricci and Jesse Eisenberg as two young adult siblings who become the victims of an attack by a werewolf. They must kill the shape-shifting beast so they can break the curse and stop themselves from transforming into werewolves. What's funny is that the low quality used in this movie is nowadays used as a meme. Yes, by this I mean the low-res, grainy, and oversaturated photos or videos that memers use to define cursed media. So yes, watching Cursed just to laugh over the poorly made CGI is indeed the most emotionally satisfying choice. So that's it for today. Make sure to check all these movies out, and don't forget to tell me how you felt about these movies in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any updates.